So here's a continuation. We got the corners on. I accidentally hit the button here when I was throwing stuff back that I shut the camera off. So we squared up the corners. Right now you can see that we have this corner here, we have that corner, and we're putting on the last two corners here. We have these notches in here that you can see that they go, the open side goes up, which it says that when it tells you to put the corners on. So I don't know why it tells you to put the notches up when you're putting the corners on, but maybe it would be a good idea if Fysetc put this, these notches, the little illustration and the little key part of it, when you're actually building the bottom instead of when you're putting the corners on. Just a little idea. Hoping I didn't lose that much content, because when I was moving stuff around, I actually hit the button to unrecord. So now this is going to be part like 1.5 of the frame assembly. So that's awesome. So yeah, it'll have 2 videos. Check these, and I also squared up those. And from the video before, if I was even recording at that point, these 3 corners are now square, but this corner over here is a problem child. So this corner doesn't like where it's sitting. Okay, in order for me to square this up, I would have to move the extrusion about 1/8 of an inch out of where the middle of the extrusion is. And rather than do that and mess with something of the gantry or something like that, that would then take this whole thing, these 2 extrusions, and bump them out another 1/8 of an inch, rather than do that, I'm going to keep it where it is. There's only this corner that is not completely square, and hope that it doesn't bother anything going forward. This one I feel real fortunate. This one matches right up. sounds good. Turn it back this way. Okay. Okay. So now we have the whole thing put together. Now it will not fit through any doors or anywhere. Luckily, if I have to get this out, it's going to be living right in this corner where you see those Home Depot boxes. It's going to be living right in that area, maybe just in this other corner over here on the other side of the wall. It might live over there just because that tank is there and I don't want to really that close to that. If there's even that much room, there is, but we'll see. For now, I think I plan on having it live over here in this corner. And if I have to, I can take the sliding door off and it'll fit right through it. So that's good. Now we will put the top on. And this is going to be kind of interesting. I might need a hand with holding this thing up. Let's see. I'm going to put it on and see what happens. Let's double check these corners. Already did, but you just want to see. Before I do this, since I just put these on and found that if I bumped it just a little bit and moved it off base, that, you know, if it's like a 30-second or something, I'm okay with that. But an eighth, that's way too much. That's way too much. So I might put this back up there and see if I can square it up. Like this one, I only have one corner, which is the problem child, which is right in here. So that one, let's see if I can get this a little bit squared up, because it's not off by much, but I'm a perfectionist at heart, so I want it to be perfect. This thing is ginormous. A little bit in that one. Almost nothing in that one. Almost nothing in that one. And this is the only square corner in this one. So, move to this one. And this one's going to have to move out. Have to move out that way. So let's see if we just bump it just a little. Oh, I gotta turn it over. Let's turn it over. My reference marks that I put are on the other side, so I'm gonna turn it over real quick just so I have those to use as a reference. Yeah, this one's kind of in the same spot. It's maybe like a 16th. You know what? I can live like that. 16. To this side. Okay, this side might need more love. This side definitely might need more. This one I might be doing some compromising. Oh, it's about the same. That's crazy. So it's not even though the picture shows it in the center, it should actually be off center a little bit by like a 16th of an inch. See, remember how I said not putting these screws in like it tells you? Fysetc, please remove that from your manual. If you see this, you don't need the screws that go for the top until you're ready to put it on the top. It just causes problems when you're trying to sit here and match everything up. very extremely close without going beyond our threshold. I'll try and see if I could just bump it just a little. Okay, that's almost perfect. It's almost. You know, for those that are perfectionists like me, it's, and you say almost perfect, it's like perfect is never achieved. it's never good enough. And it's kind of funny because I've worked with engineers my whole life, and working with them, they're like, "Oh yeah, it's good enough for government work." And it's like, bro, you could just move that like a half inch and then it's perfect. And you're like, it's good enough for government work. I'm done with it. I've had it. Okay then. Or that's beyond my pay grade. That's a good one. For those engineers out there that are watching, not bashing you, but you know what I'm talking about. I can't tell you how many times I've heard that's beyond my pay grade. And all we're doing is plugging something in. Beyond my pay grade. Yep. Good. That one's real hefty. This one I won't even be able to square up. I won't even be able to get it better than this. Because where the extrusion has to go is beyond where the screwdriver can actually tighten the screw in the hole. It's actually beyond that. So that I won't even be able to get. I won't even be able to get any better than that. Yeah, it's right. It's right on. Let me make sure that's right on the edge, but. Yep, that one won't be able to be squared up because there's the hole that you put the screwdriver into, and then the head matches up with that hole, and then you put the screwdriver in. But where it matches, it bottoms out either way with the screwdriver. So, but we'll just make sure it's tight right there. Yep. Yep. Okay. We'll make it tight right there, and now we'll call it good to go. So again, we got 3 corners that are square and then 1 that is not able to be square. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to, so if I have this that's not square, this corner, and I have that corner that's not square. I'm going to put those 2 corners together, stacked right on top of each other. And they can live together. So here's something I want to show you. Is you can see the little line I made, which is right there. And it's about a 16th, maybe a 16th strong, I would say, out. And they're all pretty much like that. So that they're all pretty much resemble each other. Some are maybe just a touch further, but most of them, I would say it's about a 16th off center. Yes, thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. I see the guy walking his dog. I appreciate you. Thanks for doing your job. Okay. Okay, so yeah, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna put this on here because I have a feeling if I put it on there, it's going to just slide right down because there's nothing to hold it. But let's see. There might be another step that maybe something helps me hold it. So let's see. So now we have the top, the bottom, we put the corners on. Aha. So Z-axis guide rail. Okay, so okay, so it seems like we're done with these for now, for the moment. Okay, so yeah, so there is another piece that helps you hold it on so you can put it on by yourself. So I'll put these back, these screws, these M5 by 12s. I don't need those right now. I'll need them when I put these on maybe, I don't know, but we'll move it off to the side. And I am grabbing, let's see, 4-piece in sequence, assemble according to the picture below. profiles. M3 T-nuts. So use socket head cap screw M3 by 8s and M3 T-nuts. Okay, so we have socket head cap screw M3 by 8s and M3 T-nuts. And it doesn't really tell you, I'm just guessing that there's 4. The extrusion has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes in it. Okay, here are the extrusions with the 6 holes that it shows. There's 4 of these. Now, I'll grab the rails. And there's 4 of them. I think there's 4 and then 1 of a different size or something, maybe. So let me go see. Okay, here's 4, and then there's 3. 3 on the other ones, and those are probably X. 1 for X, 1 for Y, and these are for Z. So okay, so now on to Assembly Guide 2.1.3Z Access Guide Rail. We opted to skip every other mounting hole in the linear rail when designing the mounting pattern for this printer. This cuts down on mounting hardware and still meets the requirements for our use case. When tightening the bolts, tighten them from the center outwards to ensure that the rail sits flush on the extrusion. And I do have the little piece that you stick on and it kind of centers it, so I think I printed 4 of those. So I think I'll probably be going and getting that here soon. I am going to get the T-nuts in here first though. Get some skidders. Or a knife, that works too. It definitely has a lot of lubrication in there. I know I've seen people that throw grease in here. It doesn't say anything about throwing grease in there. I think I might put it together just how it says. And then down the road, I can always, throw some grease in there and just run it up and down. I don't think I'm gonna mess with it right now though. So let's get some of these out. Give me like 400 of these. So, how do these go in? Do they go down or up? Okay, it doesn't show you if the little ball thing on here, there is like a little detent ball on there that you can see. You got the hole and then a little detent. It doesn't tell you which way that goes. But I'm going to guess that it's up. Because I would think the half moon shape would kind of embed in the slot of the extrusion and then kind of lock it in better. Yep, that's why I'm going with it like that. And praying for the best. Let's see, is it the same wrench? Nope. So it's probably 2.5. 2.5? Yep. Okay, there's one. One out of 462. just putting these things in is like, it's gonna be like an hour's worth of work just putting all these T-nuts in there. Just a little backstory, I did not order this directly from Fysetc. I ordered it from Fabrico, and I ordered it like mid-July, and it got delivered mid-August. So it took about a month. And when they reached out to Fysetc, I know it was right in the middle of the time when Fysetc was trying to get batch number 2 out. So I believe that this is batch number 2, because the folks that got batch number 1, I guess they got like a little piece of paper or something that said, congratulations, you have the first 50 or something that I heard about. I didn't get that, and if I did, I haven't found it yet. So there was a cool few things that I just noticed just looking at the boxes that they include that they definitely didn't have to. But again, I thought it was really cool that they did. Like a multimeter. Like, again, they didn't have to include a multimeter, but is it cool that they did? Yeah, I think so. You know, I already have a multimeter, but if I didn't and I was just trying to buy this printer to print big stuff for, let's say, my kids or something like that, I think that that would be cool if you didn't have a multimeter. And you know, then same thing with the soldering iron. There's a soldering iron in there with a little kit for the heat inserts. They didn't have to do that, but I certainly like the little personal touch. I mean, especially when you're talking about the rat rig, right? You spend $2,000 here in the U.S. It's like $2,300. That's not including enclosure, Raspberry Pi, lights, or anything, and you get, you know, like just a skeleton with like the electronics up to the Raspberry Pi. Why not just include the Raspberry Pi? Is it really that much more money? Especially because I think Rat Rig comes somewhere from Europe, if I'm not mistaken. If I am, so be it, but Raspberry Pi is made in the UK. Okay, so is it really that big of an expense to put a Raspberry Pi with it and just complete the unit? I mean, I understand the panels maybe, but so you're selling the kit, but then it's not a full kit. So I don't know, just a couple nice things that they included with this. Are they cheap? Probably. Are they going to last forever? Probably not. But even if they work for the one time that you need them to work, when you're building this thing, that's the effectiveness. So and if I was doing electrical around my house, would I trust the multimeter that they sent with the kit? I don't think so. I would go get myself a Klein or something that actual professionals that do stuff with electric, that I am not, but I would use something that they use that's reputable versus zap myself, and then next thing you know, I find out, oh yeah, the multimeter. Well, yeah, you know, the multimeter was probably $3 for them to send with it versus buying a $50, $60 Klein on the low end, or a Fluke for $150, if not more. I'm not going to say a disclosure on using a knife. If you don't know how to use a knife, don't use one. If you're at risk of accidentally cutting yourself, don't use one. If you don't have common sense, don't use one. All that stuff kind of goes hand in hand, really. Or if you're a kid and you're building this thing, which I don't know, like, why a parent would let somebody build such a big thing like by themselves. Like, I'm talking like 5-year-old. I don't know if I would let a 5-year-old build it. Maybe a 10-year-old. Met some really smart 10-year-olds that could probably figure stuff out with a little bit of a guidance of parents. But yeah, if you're a little kid trying to open up these packages with scissors or something, ask your parents. That's why they're there. Bother them. Just like when I was a kid. Ma, can you open this? And then Ma would open it. Or Dad, or whatever. And if you don't want to put this together like on a video or something, I would highly recommend, playing some tunes. For most of this stuff, do it in front of the TV. Grab a nice little clean tray or something if you got those dinner trays, and just like grab some screws in a bucket or something, and just do that. For copyright reasons, I can't be playing music while I'm doing this. It's ridiculous. It's beyond me. I'm actually surprised that artists don't let you use their music, because at least you're using their music. You're not selling it. Yeah, some people are getting paid to be on YouTube, but it's like free advertising. Like, hey, this guy, you want to know what he enjoys doing or enjoys listening to while he's doing stuff? Garth Brooks or Kenny Chesney, whatever your pleasure is. 9 Inch Nails, Dreadful Dead, or whatever that band is that I don't know of, but I hear about it all the time. It's like free advertisement. Like, hey, my favorite YouTuber, that's what they like to listen to. They like to listen to this. But no. YouTube says nuh-uh. We ain't about that. Since we ain't making money off of it, you ain't doing it. Who knows? They're probably gonna look at this video and be like, nope, you can't post that. You said something negative about us, that we don't allow people to play music. Well, I think it's true. But hey, who am I? The one thing it does mention in the manual are these two rubber things that you can see like here. There's two little rubber raised pieces. One's right here and one's over here on the other side. Right there. You can see them. Those prevent this from sliding off and all the ball bearings inside go flying everywhere. Okay? So as you see that I'm putting these in, I'm moving these, which I have to push the screws down. So I just want to make sure that those don't fall off. So you can see it kind of bounces back and forth. And I have the screws underneath. Okay. And these I'm debating if I put a second one down here, because like if you look, you can see there is not one in this end one. If you start at one of the ends, it doesn't finish at the end. Even though the picture of, yeah, the picture shows one and then one at the end. But there definitely is not one at the end. So maybe it's a cut off version of that, the full thing. Maybe it only shows you like a snippet or like this. But I'm debating, or I just put this end down. I don't know. We'll find out. I think that's what a couple of the other YouTubers did, is they put this end down, because I kind of like this one to be up top. Just, I don't know. It seems like it would work better that way. It doesn't have any mention of what these little plastic things are. But there are little plastic things in the bag that are probably like 2 inches long. I don't know what those are for. But it doesn't mention anything about them in the manual. So, and again, the couple YouTubers that I watched that built these before, they didn't use them. They didn't even talk about them. So, I don't know. But there are little plastic things that come in there. I'll keep them, definitely. I'll definitely keep them, just in case down the road they end up coming and play at some point. But we'll see. So far, I haven't come across any T-nuts that did not work right. Maybe I'm just early on in the bag. They seem pretty high quality. I mean, when you look at them, they don't seem cheap. They do not seem cheap, because they got that little detent in there with the ball. So the enclosure for the AD5M, the Flash Forge Adventure printer, I printed that one. I think it's like the Liliama or something, Llama version of it. that has like the little tray in the front on the top and the bottom. I really like that versus just the standard one. It definitely took, I'm gonna say somewhere about 4 or 5 kilograms of filament to print all of the pieces. And I didn't print the TPU and all that stuff. I don't think it's real like crucial. I printed ABS. All the ABS parts for this are printed on that machine. And when I printed them, I used the FlashForge ABS Pro. That stuff was the very first ABS I've used, the only ABS I've used to date. And let me just say, it was so easy. The only thing I've printed with is PETG and PLA. Majority of everything I print with, or I print, is printed in PETG. I print PLA for the little stuff, you know, that I print for like the girlfriend. She wants me to print her something, I'll print it. That's gonna stay in the house. It's not gonna be used for anything other than just looking at. So yeah, I'll print that stuff in her fancy color, her rainbow color PLA and all that stuff. I'll print stuff like that. But that ABS Pro from FlashForge, absolute game changer. For me, not printing with ABS ever, it is printing better than the PETG. And the PETG I have is printing phenomenal. But this stuff is on its own level, especially when you're talking about ABS and you hear horror stories that it doesn't stick to the bed, it starts peeling up. I've had no experience of that whatsoever, and it sticks to the bed. It actually sticks to the bed so well that I had to start using glue stick out of fear that I wasn't going to be able to get it off at some point. So yeah, I would highly recommend that FlashForge ABS. I did with the printer from Fabrico. I picked up a roll of the LVO smoke gray, something like that, smoky gray or smoke gray ABS. Haven't tried it yet because I plan on using it on this printer. And then someone was just telling me that one of the other YouTubers have an ABS on their station, Armored 3D or Armory 3D, that they have ABS that is supposedly phenomenal, that people love it because it's like what I talk about with the FlashForge and the experience that I had with FlashForge, that they just put it in, the parameters for basic ABS are perfect for it, and it just prints, sticks to the bed, no bed adhesion problems, all those good things. But I haven't tried that yet, but in the near future I plan on it, because the FlashForge is really nice, but it doesn't come in the colors that I need it to, because mostly this printer is going to be for my business, and I'm going to be looking at special colors, especially because the FlashForge gray it's not even close to the same gray as my business, so it'll look nice as the accent colors on this printer, but I can't use it to print the pieces for the production stuff for the business. PETG Pro is really nice. That's what I use from FlashForge. Before, as of recently, I haven't printed with anything but FlashForge filament. So obviously, I'm in a select market. I know there's a lot of people that like those other companies, and I forget what that real popular one is. But the guys give it away like it's candy on their streams. So I don't know if that's a good thing, that their sponsors just helping them out, if it's so cheap that they don't care if they just give it away, one per stream, which they're streaming like 3 times a week. I don't know. But it seems like it has a following, definitely. So not discrediting it, just kind of just saying what's on the mind. So I can't discredit that at all. But yeah, I plan on trying that at some point. A few different filaments till I get the right one, which one works best. Some I read good things, I read bad things. Is a user error based off of the person that's using it and trying to run the profiles? Who knows? I'm sure that there definitely is something involved with that. Again, not poking fun at anybody, but when I first got into 3D printing and I'm just printing with my Adventure 3D, my Adventure 85M, I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna tune the filament and everything, and I thought I had the filament tuned and it was great, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get a single print like that's good. And it took so many attempts to get a good one. And again, being a perfectionist, I wanted every corner right. I wanted everything good. You see these people that print these things on Bamboo Lab printers, and it just, a push of a button, it's boom, it's perfect. It's perfect. And I don't want to use a Bamboo Lab because I don't want to send my designs that I personally design in the 3D software to China. I don't want to do it. I use Tinkercad for almost everything, which I'm sure that's probably Chinese anyways. So it's probably going to them regardless, but at least I know that it's on my account. Could there be something, that they steal it? Maybe. But it's not guaranteed that when I hit print, it's automatically sending them a file over there to come back. When some folks have the same experience with these. And when I say these, I mean Voron type printers. Because even though this isn't a Voron, it's close. Okay, so we have all 4 of these good. And let's see. So how do I hook this? I put, okay. Okay, so this lays down toward me, and it goes on here. Oh, okay, so it wants two towards this side. So what I mean by that is, if you see, there's the holes, and not only are there holes, but there's little half moons cut out of the top extrusion part. Okay, as you can see, like this side has holes, but there's nothing in the actual extrusion here, okay? So one side has the half moons that are right there that you can see, okay? There's six holes there, and then if you look at the other side, there's just a hole. It doesn't affect the top extrusion. So they're saying that they want you to do 2 of the rails towards this side and 2 of the rails towards this side. So let's try this, see what happens. Okay, I'm praying that I didn't do this wrong, that these aren't like upside down or something, because people had all kinds of problems getting this thing in, and I just slid it in like it was butter. Okay, so I'm praying that I didn't do something wrong here, and I don't gotta flip all 462 of these things upside down or something. Because it doesn't really show you how they go in. But I just put that little D10 ball thing up. So we'll find out. I will be right back. I am going to grab the spacer that I printed to keep these centered up.